you a HR student, professional, somebody starting out in their HR career? Are you aware of the different behaviours that you should be encompassing as a people professional? Well, I'm going to be going through the 8 core behaviours which have been specified by the CIPD on their profession map, which showcase what you need to be doing to encompass these behaviours in a workplace environment. Now, I think that one of the last behaviours that I'm going to be going through today is probably one of the most important. So definitely stick around to hear what that last behaviour is, because in a HR setting, it is definitely worth knowing and understanding. So if this sounds interesting to you and you want to know more, then please keep watching. So the first core behaviour that I want to go through today is ethical practice. Now, ethical practice is about building trust. It's about building the right confidence and understanding that there are different policies and processes that need to be followed and adhered to. So if we go to the profession map, it states that in the foundation level, you need to be taking responsibility for your actions. You need to be consistently understanding what the relevant regulations and laws are and considering professional principles and values to inform your approach. And then at the associate level, we need to make sure that we're considering the purpose and implications of actions, decisions, and people practices for all stakeholders, and raising concerns about people practices and policies which aren't consistent with values or legislation. So a working example of this is if you are a HR professional and you are looking after the pre-onboarding process, you need to make sure that the employees that will be joining the organisation have the business code of conduct to get an understanding of the way in which the company operates in an ethical manner. You also need to make sure that they're aware of who to contact if they see an issue where they need to raise a concern. And also you need to make sure that you are aware of these, because people will be coming to you, as HR is usually a contact when it comes to maybe any ethical issues. So the second core behavior that I want to talk about is professional courage and influence. Now, having an influence in an organization and having the courage to speak up about certain things which you may want to contribute towards too, if you see an opportunity about something, this skill is highly, highly valuable in order to be successful within the HR profession. So at the foundation level, you need to make sure that you're contributing to views and opinions clearly. You've got to provide information accurately and in a timely manner. You've got to initiate purposeful conversations with a range of people. And then at the associate level, you need to make sure that you're contributing to discussions and responding to questions in an informed and confident way, communicating with key information in a clear and engaging way, and also considering potential reactions and resistance to inform how and when you communicate your ideas. So a working example of this could be if you are seeing something within your department that could be done better, how can you contribute to that? Like if you say what's on your mind to your manager, if you talk to your colleagues about it, then you may be called up to take part in a project to solve that issue. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you have a graduate network or you've got a lot of interns within your organization. Do they have a space to connect together? Are there events or activities that they could go to as a group together to learn from each other? Speaking up on your ideas and talking about what you see as a challenge or how you think you can solve something can really help with your individual career progression, because leaders and people around you will see that you are somebody who is driven by ideas. So the third core behavior is valuing people. It's essential that we are valuing each other within the organization when it comes to people development and also people's well-being as well. So at the foundation level, this is emphasizing with others, supporting others to develop and be their best or considering their well-being of others, advising colleagues and line managers. And then towards the associate level, you've got building a sense of team spirit and purpose, treating people fairly and considerately in your work, and coaching and advising others in the business. So as a HR professional, you may be dealing with a lot of employee queries, and some of the topics may be really sensitive. So you need to make sure that you're emphasizing with others in the right way and in specific ways. If you're seeing an issue with somebody, or you see an issue with a department or a group of people in the organization, depending on performance management or dependent on career development, let's say for example, then you can advise managers on how to deal with specific situations, or you may be able to talk to your manager about that situation if it's been brought directly to you as to how to resolve that. So the next core behavior that I want to go through is working inclusively. Now, it's so important that you are including people across the organization in your environment. You're making sure that people feel welcome, people feel a sense of security, and they feel like they can trust you and they can to work alongside you in a positive manner. So if we go to the CIPD profession map now, at the foundation level, you need to show sensitivity and respect to others. You've also got to build positive working relationships with immediate colleagues and demonstrate openness to diverse views and opinions. And at the associate level, you need to get to know people as individuals so that you can work together and more effectively and actively seek and listen to diverse views and opinions. You also need to support others to resolve conflict and build trust before issues escalate. So in the workplace, in general, we need to make sure that we're part of an inclusive environment. And specifically as a HR professional as well, this is something that we will encompass as part of our objectives potentially, or part of the wider organisation, as you may have like a diversity, inclusion and belonging team specifically. But you need to make sure that you are including everybody. You are getting feedback from others on situations that are happening across the workplace. So the next core behavior that I want to talk about is commercial drive. So have you got that commercial drive to understand how certain changes can have a positive impact to the business needs? So at the foundation level, this is showing a keen interest in your organization and its performance, demonstrating that you are customer focused in your work, identifying the steps to achieve agreed goals and demonstrating drive to deliver to a high standard. And at the associate level, it's identifying and focusing your attention on people issues that impact on business performance, carefully considering the financial and operational implications of your choices, and taking responsibility to provide pragmatic and timely advice and deliver solutions that meet business needs. So, the one thing that I can say here is, do you understand your organization? As a HR professional, it is essential that you understand the organization. What are they doing? What are their objectives? What is their strategy? Now, one thing that my manager told me, a good tip that she told me is, Alicia, read the annual report. Now, at many businesses, they have an annual report that's released each year, which talks about everything that's happening within that business. It's quite a wordy document, but you can really understand so much from reading that document. It will tell you the challenges that the company's been facing within that year and how they have tried to solve that in that year. But what is to come? What else do we need to be doing as a business in order to overcome these challenges that we're facing currently? Now, some HR professionals don't believe that their role is directly linked into the business needs. Sometimes HR people see the business needs as completely separate to what they're doing as their role, but that is completely wrong. To the CIPD guidelines as well, it's completely wrong. You need to understand, okay, so this is what the business is doing here. From a people perspective, what are we doing which is influencing the business needs and what potentially needs to change? So the next core behavior that I want to talk about is passion for learning. Now, within this one, it's about how you can get the most out of your career. What can you do to learn more? How can you keep up to date? How can you see new opportunities that arise and allow that to make you stay relevant within your position? It's all about innovation. It's about creativity. It's about understanding more to provide more, to input more. So at the foundation level, it's remaining inquisitive about issues and developments in the people profession and the wider world of work, being open to trying new ideas or approaches to improve and learn, and demonstrating a proactive approach to developing your professional knowledge, skills, and experience. At the associate level, this is keeping up to date with external trends and developments and considering how they will impact on your work, seeking opportunities to test new ways of doing things to making improvements, and demonstrating a proactive approach to developing professional knowledge, skills, and experience. So, an example of this is in your role, it would be great if you can know how to upskill. So you can do this in so many different ways, whether that be getting feedback directly from your manager. If you maybe have one-to-one sessions with your manager, then they may be able to update you as your time goes along on what you're doing well and what needs improving. And then from this, you can understand and say, do you know what? I think it'll be great if I undertook this course or I did that course, because then I can get more knowledge on this. But it's not just about taking courses and gaining knowledge that way. It's also about keeping up to date with trends, what's happening in the world at the moment, and how is that affecting the people profession and the wider world of work. So the next core behavior that I want to go through is insights focused. Now, asking questions, being curious about different things, trying to understand more by looking and evaluating certain pieces of information is essential as a HR professional. Now, at the foundation level, this is all about asking questions to understand problems or issues, accurately retrieving and collating data to inform decisions, accurately analysing and evaluating evidence. And then at the associate level, we've got asking questions to explore issues and understanding underlying causes, identifying sources of evidence, whether that be internal data, professional opinion, or external practice, and how best to acquire them, and objectively evaluating, taking into account its quality. So, I would say an example of being insights focused and driven is when you're in a team meeting, for example, and let's say that a topic has arisen and you're not quite sure about what's going on in that topic. Ask that question. Say, do you know what? I'm not entirely sure what's happening here. How can you input? Because it might be a situation that you might not be working on at the moment. So it could be a discussion between people in the HR team that are maybe a little bit more senior, but it's good for you to ask questions to understand what's going on in that situation so that you're just more aware of what's happening in the wider department. So the final core behavior that I want to go through today, which I had stated at the start of the video, I find one of the most important that every HR professional needs to encompass is situational decision making. So this is all about understanding, okay, this is a situation that we've been dealt with at the moment. How are we going to come to a decision and how we're going to find the best solution based on the situation or the context that we're in. So at the foundation level, this is about applying agreed procedures and policies and available sources of evidence to make choices, being open to new information and changing circumstances, and seeking to understand the outcomes of your actions. At the associate level, you need to be able to solve problems and make choices by applying evidence relevant to the specific situation, identifying the different options or solutions available and the benefits and risks of each, and adapting your approach and choices in light of new information or changing circumstances. So my example here is you're probably going to be in a situation in HR, and I'm telling you it happens a lot, where you've not actually been faced with this situation before at all. And it's new to you, so you're not entirely sure how to go about it. Now, just because you don't know how to go about it at that point in time does not mean that you cannot come to a solution. You may have the knowledge already from a situation that happened previously in the past, which might have been very similar to the situation that you're in now. So you might be able to use approaches from that situation to help you come to a conclusion for the current situation. Or if you're not completely sure on how to solve it, you may know contacts within the business who actually might have an idea of what the best way to solve it would be. So you have that knowledge of understanding, okay, do you know what? This situation sounds like a job for this person. They actually could really help me here to solve this issue. So it's about understanding what sources, what policies, what procedures have you already got in place, and how can you answer that situational query that you're in the current moment. So I've got a call to action for everybody watching this video who've got to this point right now. If you're trying to get into the HR profession, and let's say your CV doesn't have as many of these behaviors as you think it should, based on watching this video, go and check out the CIPD profession map, which is linked down below, and evaluate your CV compared to the profession map. Understand what skills you need to have and understand what skills you've got right now, and how can you ensure that you are adding this within your CV. If you have any questions, then please comment down below and let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.